Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Guitar Talk with Todd here at Todd Beebe Music. As always, make sure you like and subscribe to the page down below. Please comment as well on all the videos. If you've got an experience with any of the guitars that I'm talking about, go ahead and review or let us know what you think about them. Love them, hate them, kind of on the fence, whatever. Just let us know. So today we have another Gibson Les Paul. This is a Studio Lite model. The deal with Gibson Les Paul Studios, a lot of you may know or may not. So let me just talk about that real quick. In 1983, Gibson put out the Studio model, which basically was named that because it has no binding. None on the headstock, none on the neck, none on the body. You'll see limited runs come out here and there that have them, like a special type of thing. That's pretty rare, though. In general, the standard, production line of a Les Paul Studio is just bare bones, and that's why it's called Studio, because it pretty much does anything that any other Les Paul will do. And if you're just going by sound in the studio to record or whatever, you're fine. There's nothing cosmetic about it that you're gonna miss or whatever I'm trying to say here. But yeah, they're definitely bare bones. They're great guitars. Like I was just saying, they are considered less cosmetic, but it's really weird. There's some beautiful Les Paul Studios out here. I'm gonna be getting out there, or we're going to be getting some of them in here to review and play. In 1990 and up until about 1998, Gibson put out what was called the Studio Lite, and this is one of them. And what was different about them, people were complaining, still do, about the weight of a Les Paul. This has balsa wood, and so what they did is it's a mahogany body, and they drilled out holes. So I guess this was like one of the earlier forms of the chambered Les Paul, which has come into existence. But what they did here is they filled a lot of the holes with balsa wood to make it lighter than mahogany, and these are great. I mean, it's super light compared to a regular Les Paul that's like a tree trunk. That doesn't bother me at all. I know a lot of guys, by the end of the night, they're just and you can feel it. It does take a toll on you if you're not sitting down. I mean, a good run-of-the-mill basic Les Paul is a tree. I mean, it's got some weight to it. So these are a great alternative to that because they're very light. A lot of people did complain that they were losing tone. I never really had that problem. I never noticed any difference at all, really, with the balsa wood bodies here inserted into the bodies that made it lighter. Still got the maple top over the top. You will top of the mahogany and the balsa wood. You will notice it's a three-piece top. I don't know if you can see that. So you've got the seam here and a seam here, so you got the 1, 2, 3, as opposed to a book matched two-piece top or whatever. Again, a lot of purists don't like that. No problem at all to me. I mean, I guess appearance-wise, it's not quite as attractive as a two-piece maple top, but again, does the job, and it's just an awesome guitar. Humbucking pickups in here, no covers on them, so we're just exposed, wide open. You can see the double coils in there with the humbuckers. Got the Nashville style 2-pneumatic bridge and the stop bar. Basic Les Paul qualities here. You got the rhythm, treble, switch, 2-tone, 2-volume controls, ebony fingerboard, which is very common on Les Paul Studios, so that's the same. Trapezoid inlays, so we didn't have the dots, which I know when Gibson started putting out the Les Paul Studios, they were all dots, and then they did upgrade all of them to trapezoids, which to this day you will find. As far as the headstock goes, everything's silk screened. You don't have a mother of pearl Gibson logo silk screened on there. Silk screen Les Paul logo, which is of course standard. This is a 1992 model, and it does have the Gibson brand tuners on it, which are fine. They work fantastic, but they're not Grovers or anything like that. So between the Gibson tuners, no binding, 3-piece maple top, no mother of pearl Gibson logo or anything like that, it's bare bones, really bare bones. So the Les Paul Studio Lite was even considered a little bit less than the Les Paul Studio at the time. So these went for really inexpensive, which was great because if you got one, you got a really nice guitar. Like I said, I know guys, myself included, that go play 4 or 5 hour shows. You appreciate these by the end of the night. You got this thing slung around your shoulder. It's like, wow, this is actually not that bad. Nice and light. They came in a bunch of different colors. I could be missing a few. I know I've seen, obviously, this, which would be like your tobacco sunburst, vintage sunburst. I've seen light brown. I've seen red. I've seen blue, black. Not sure if there's any other colors I'm missing out there. There could be, but they did a select run of these two with different colors and stuff. And like I said, I really love these guitars. They play very well. I guess to 100% purist, if you're comparing this to a Les Paul Custom or something from the custom shop, this is about as low to the bottom of the line as you can get with still having the Les Paul Gibson on here. It's not an Epiphone. Not that there's anything wrong with Epiphones. I'm not going down that road. I'm just saying if we're looking at purely Gibson, this is probably about as low as you can get if you were comparing quality and all that stuff. But I almost don't even want to go down that path, because to say this is not quality is just not true. This is exceptional quality. And this is a 1992. Any of you that really follow Gibson know that in my opinion, the early 90s, almost that entire decade, 90 to 99, 90 to 2000, and in my opinion, that's the same, or I guess I would say the runner-up to the golden era there of Gibson, which was like 55 till about 60, 61. Late 50s, all that stuff, when all the classic 59 Les Pauls and whatnot came out, 57 gold tops. That was an awesome era with Ted McCarty. But 90 to 95, Henry Juskowitz had taken over, and they were really on a mission to prove that Gibson could still knock it out of the park, and boy, they did. If you find any Gibson, not just Les Paul's, Gibson models across the board from like 90 to 95, they're just flawless. Some people call that the good wood era. Supposedly the wood they were getting was fantastic, and just great guitars. I have no reason to doubt that, because every Les Paul or every just plain Gibson I've ever played from that era is fantastic. But so let's get some close-up shots of this too. But first, let's go ahead and give it a test run and see how this thing sounds. So check it out. Okay, so there you have it. That was the Gibson Les Paul Studio Lite. Ran through a PV Backstage 110. That amp is probably, I can't get it in the shot here, but it's probably about as old as this guitar is. That amp was probably 90, 91, I'm guessing. And this guitar is 92, so they work real well together. But again, it's a small practice amp, so we're not busting full out through a stack here or anything. But typical, great, you know, classic Gibson tone on the neck pickup. Just got that real creamy. And then we've got, you know, obviously plenty of bite on the bridge pickup. Cleans up real well. Jazzier chords, bluesy stuff. Okay, so let's check out the case here for the 1992 Gibson Les Paul Studio Lite. That's pretty much the period correct brown, you know, case that you had from the early 90s. Interestingly, though, this one has the shroud that's, you know, pink fur, they call it. But it's not fur, obviously. But later on, they lost this shroud altogether. But first, it turned into like a, you know, silk material, more or less, which was like, you know, thinner than this, obviously. And then they just lost it altogether. So this is definitely from the early 90s, without a doubt, because this was period correct for that time. And then there she be. So again, we've got the two humbucking pickups there with no covers on them, coils exposed, a Nashville 2-pneumatic bridge with the stop bar, got the top hat knobs there, 2 volume 2 tone controls, your typical, you know, 3-way switch on a Gibson. Like I was talking about earlier, you can see here, if you get right in the light especially, it's a little bit weird here though with the lighting. There's like a seam right here. You can see one, and then you've got the other seam back here. So it is definitely a 3-piece maple top. Looks great though. Again, very bare bones, but it, you know, it kind of goes with the guitar. That's what it's all about. We're not going for bling here. So it fits in perfectly. Beautiful shot there of the ebony fingerboard. And then, like we were saying earlier, you come down here, you got the silk screened Gibson logo. We don't have mother of pearl. Les Paul silk screen logo as always, of course. And then those gold Gibson tuners, which work fine for this guitar. So there she is in the case, and she's looking beautiful. Like I said, these would probably be considered the lowest you could go in the Gibson line, especially at that time, 92. But again, I would put these up against any of my customs I've played. As far as tone goes and playability, this neck feels incredible. The tone is incredible out of these humbuckers. So again, appearance-wise, yeah, it's missing a lot of stuff. It's missing, you know, the bling, the mother of pearl Gibson logo, the binding, none on the front, none on the back. You know, in typical like Les Paul studio fashion, you can actually see where the maple top lays right there on top of the slab of mahogany. But you know, there's something kind of cool about that. I mean, you know, obviously on a standard, they go right over that with bindings, so you can't even see it. Custom, you have it on the front and the back, so I usually have neck binding too. You don't have any of that on this, so it is very bare bones. It does have gold hardware, so the gold hardware kind of jumps out a little bit, and it does have the trapezoid inlays. Those are a little bit fancier, but again, we're not going for looks here. You know, playing one of these live, which I have, is fine in my book. Might not be the most glamorous thing in the world, but you know, I would put this up against anything in a showcase showdown. You know, this guitar plays awesome. We're gonna have more Les Paul Studios and that coming in as well. The Les Paul Studio is the biggest selling model for Gibson, you know, which makes sense. They're the most affordable, the most quality. You still got the Gibson product, you know, Gibson on the headstock, loud and proud. My first Les Paul was a studio. I know a lot of guys are, and there are people that kind of, I don't want a studio on it, but they're great guitars. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I put these right up against anything else and put them right there in the collection. They're made in Nashville. You know, they got the Gibson logo. There were no studios ever made in Kalamazoo in the old Gibson plant, because they started making studios in '83. By that time, Gibson was, you know, pretty much full on going down there in Nashville. I think it was '84 they officially were done in Kalamazoo, but by that time, any studios that were starting to be made were coming out of Nashville for sure. So all of them have come out of Nashville, and then like I said, when we hit 1990 till about 98, they were putting out the Studio Lite, which is what this is. So they're incredible guitars. Check them out if you get a chance to. Once again, please comment below, you guys. Let me know what you think of these. If you hate them, let me know if you've had an experience with one. Love to hear from people who can kind of compare them to a custom shop standards, you know, and higher ones, or maybe even just a basic studio that's not the light and has, you know, the balsa wood in there to make it lighter. But let me know what you think. Definitely comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Todd Beebe Music channel. So thanks so much for checking it out today and tuning in, and we will see you guys again. Take care.